Hello, everybody. I think we are live officially. Sorry about the confusion. YouTube is giving me some issues for some reason. So hopefully you can find this stream easy enough. I put the link in the other video. But we'll get started here. I have been recently inspired more so by Studio Ghibli. As some of you guys may know, some of those films by Miyazaki that he created. Super cool landscape, super cool animation. It's just amazing. And my husband and I were looking at some of his landscapes yesterday, and I was super inspired by the dramatic landscapes that are in those films. And so I thought it'd be fun someday to actually paint a full like acrylic painting or oil painting of sort of my own landscape that's sort of inspired by Studio Ghibli. But in order to kind of get there, because I don't really know what that means or what that looks like, I thought I'd do some small watercolors today of some ideas and sort of brainstorming. Again, it's kind of like I don't really know exactly what it's going to look like, but we're going to go with it as as it happens. So I have just some watercolor paper here, and I mapped out a 1/4 an inch around the border, and then 1/4 an inch or 1/2 an inch on the inside here. So these are like separate little, I think they were 4 by 5.5, not standard, but 4 by 5 little rectangles here. Actually have a YouTube video coming out on how to measure borders and grids accurately. So keep an eye out for that, because it's a super handy skill for, setting things up before you actually paint it or for a commission. So good skills to know. So I'm going to just finish taping this so you get an idea of how this process works. Put tape. It's helpful to have that lines actually drawn across the page, because then I can actually put my tape up against that line. Same with up here. Oops, missed a little spot. And then kind of making sure that edge against the paper is really creased good so that I don't get watercolor underneath. This is actual painter's, like artist tape, not just painter's tape, like the blue tape here for painting, which is similar. This is less sticky. I just have better results with actual artist tape. I'm going to actually leave this open just because my tape is too thick for that part. I didn't think that through. That's okay. We're going to just be careful when we get to that edge so we can have a nice edge on the inside, bottom, / top of these different rectangles. Okay, so in preparation, I had to look up some dramatic pictures, landscape pictures for inspiration. I'm not copying. I just wanted to get an idea of kind of what my mind was thinking, because again, I didn't really know. So I've got some cool like castle, water, reflection, sky, water, dramatic lighting, dramatic like landscapey, mountains, forests with fog and like greens, lots of texture, lots of light streaming through. This one I loved. It was super moody. This one was my favorite. So I just wanted to gather some that I could kind of use as reference as I do this. I think I'm going to start with more of a foresty one. That was kind of my first idea. I was thinking, okay, something with green, something foresty. So I'm going to put this off to the side so that I can kind of look at it, refer to it, get some ideas for composition and all that. So I'm going to start up here with the first one. Hopefully you guys can see this okay. I had to tweak things slightly so that you didn't see like my computer. There we go. Make sure things are straight. Okay, and I can lift it up occasionally to show you a little bit closer, but I had to, again, fit everything together so you can see it. So I'm going to start with just sketching out really basic parts of my composition. Maybe some land in here. Big rock. I want some trees in the distance that I'll kind of, maybe I'll actually ignore those for now and just draw the big ones that I'm thinking. One kind of like leaning this way. The picture has two, but I want to do something kind of like moody by making it really, really lean over. Something like that. I can add more branches as I go, but get a basic idea. And then we'll have another one, maybe kind of a crooked one in here too. As sort of the two main big branches, trees. Something like that. Okay, so I got a basic idea, keeping it simple because I want to jump into painting right away. So I don't know if you can see that sketch there. Again, if you get some questions, comments, anything along the way, feel free to put them in the chat and we can talk about it. I'm going to give everything I like the green sort of hues from this one because I want to go for foggy feel. So I'm going to just create that a little bit. Keeping it light, but we're going to just brush over the whole thing. I am going to make sure I have this in hand so that I can lift out the places that are brighter. So again, I'm doing these really quickly because I just want to get an idea. They don't have to be, perfect finished paintings or anything. Yeah, like that. Okay. I'm going to have to work on multiples at a time because in watercolor, you really don't want to go in when it's still wet, obviously, or if it's damp. So I'm going to have to let this sit, come back to it. So I'm going to switch gears. This actually might help me to go faster, is to kind of think of multiples at a time. So while I'm on the forest one, I'm going to do this one kind of with some more lighting, like dramatic streams of light. So composition wise, I might flip this the other way. I want it going like this, off into the distance. We're going to have tree here, kind of big. Then we'll have a few off in the distance here. Actually, this one I want to be a little bit thicker. Sorry if you're having trouble seeing the sketch. I try to draw really lightly. You'll see it as it morphs a little bit more. But I'm gonna bring in some slightly bigger trees in here. There's kind of like sort of showing the mountains a little bit in the distance. It's something bigger there. Kind of like that. Shadows across the walk here. Okay, that's probably good. So now I can go in and put a base on that one. And color-wise, it's going to be a little different. I still want to do like bright greens, because Studio Ghibli has a lot of bright greens that happen in those films. So I want to maybe paint in I want some dramatic lighting. And to do that, I feel like I have to hint at bright colors off in the distance there. Still kind of working, dark to light. Or background to foreground. Sometimes in watercolor you have to work the opposite. Depends, but okay, there's some hinting at stuff in the distance. And I'll maybe just put a base down of water here. And just put a little light layer of a color here, because it's going to be the light undertones. And then we add the dark shadows on top of it. Oops, wasn't careful with my edge. That's why I put tape most of the time, but oops. Okay, there's my base coat. I'm going to put a little bit of blue just at the top. Very little bit of blue. So you can kind of hint at the sky. Sky's always darker up above and gets lighter as it goes towards the horizon. Okay, so I've got that good coat. Let's test this sky. You can always use the back of your hand to test if it's dry, if it still feels cold, which it's a little cold, but I think we'll be fine. I'm going to go for it. So I want to do the trees in the distance first. Background to foreground. Doesn't always work with watercolor, but like I said, but you have to think about, okay, you have to preserve your lights, preserve your whites, and work around those in watercolor, because you can't really get them back. You can lift a little bit, but that's about it. It's not perfect every time. Okay, going for kind of a light green in the distance here. And we're going to kind of just put it, and I actually should have this ready because I want to make it even lighter. But there are other trees in the distance, so I don't want to go too crazy. And I can soften all of that later if it's too harsh of edges. It's hard to see my sketch. I could actually be going straight over my sketch. I'm kind of avoiding it, but I guess the darker stuff's going to cover it anyway. So, okay, I'm going to soften all of that a little bit more. So it's not like harsh edges. Okay, we're gonna let that dry. Come back down to this guy and take a look at what needs to happen next. I really just want the thing with creating dramatic lighting. I was teaching this week. You have to do really dark contrast to make things pop. So if you want little lights in your picture to really just be vibrant, everything else has to be fairly dark for that to really work. So in this particular picture, it's the same thing. I have to create, use your dark colors to create the contrast. So all right, let's try this. We're going to do close. Oh, I want it a little warmer for something closer. We're going to kind of paint in the areas that the light is not touching and then make sure we avoid the things that it is, because that's how it works in watercolor. So if the light is touching that, let's work back here. These might be a little bluer because they're just a little bit farther away. I guess, where's my light coming from? Yeah, okay, it's coming from there. Just make sure I'm doing this right. So that goes across. I love the light spots that can happen Oh, covering up a light area on that tree. Don't do that. It's going to have mostly dark because the shadow is coming at us more on this guy. I need to remind myself that I want to add some kind of random creative Studio Ghibli inspired items into these a little bit, not just doing landscapes, but trying to also think about, okay, what can I add that's like creative, out of the box, different. Ooh, getting some drippage here. Okay, as it goes into the forest more, you get some more leaves. That might happen. I actually want this foreground to be fairly dark. I need to reveal, I want to reveal that little highlight on that tree there. It's going to be important to preserve that. I want warmer highlights on these trees. So as long as it's not too wet, I can go in and warm up that side and maybe parts of this in here and this side. It can be warmer up close, and then it needs to be a little bit cooler and lighter in the distance. So I maybe made these a little too warm. Okay. Making sure this stuff up close is really contrasty is really going to make that look right. The more layers of shadows you can create, the better. I'm going to preserve a little bit of the light spots in there. There's going to be, I don't really know what's happening in this, the ground here. I guess I want some lighter areas. Something like that. All right, I'm going to put, while I'm thinking of it right now, I'm going to put a thing in the sky. I don't know what kind of thing, just a thing. Some sort of something, I don't know. Getting the right color for something that's far away is going to be, does it look too much like a tree? Maybe. This is hard for me. Think this way. And maybe this giant thing casts a shadow across the trees down below. I kind of want these trees to be a little bit, here. Trees to be more vibrant. Rich forests with maybe a little bit of shadowing, but not too dark. Because again, things are far away. Okay, I might call that one good, actually. So you reach a point where it's like, the more you add, I mean, you don't have to wait for it to dry or anything. I might just add a few more leaves here. Still feel like I could go darker. Like I want the brightness of the background to be so much more vibrant. I don't use black very often, but I feel like I need to use more of it now because I want this stuff to be super, super contrasty. Sorry, guys, I can't let this one go yet. Can't let it go. Let me know who's watching. Who's watching right now? I'd love to hear from you. It's different than like Facebook or Instagram. It doesn't show me who's watching. I just know there's people watching. So I'd love to know who it is. add some interesting branches. Yeah, I have to give it a little more time. I mean, look at that. That looks way better because of the contrast, right? I'm going to do a little bit more back in here. Up against this tree. Again, I just want black. Yeah, black down in here. Not too much black. A little black blue. That'll be better. A little bit of hinting at this. Okay, maybe I'll stop there. Don't want to go too crazy. I can always touch it later when I've looked at it for a while. But let's go back to number 1 at the top here. And we're going to do the next layer of trees. Let's see. It's really just, I guess, a few spots with a slightly darker kind of. I love this green. I want to try to capture this green here. Where'd my picture go? So I want to paint in this tree wherever those branches go. Something like that. That looks really dark, but I think it'll be fine with the contrast of the other things. I don't really know. Okay, let's see. There's another like tree branch thing I want to show over here and here. And maybe a little guy back here that's a little bit more prominent. And then maybe darken just kind of the trunk of this one. And there's more rocks and things that I can start to kind of hint at a little bit, like the shadows of them. Ooh, I like this so far. Something like that. Yeah, I like that. I want that one to be leaning more, and that definitely helped. Now I'm going to do those ones darker green. They're still like green, so I want to make sure they can have nice dark, and I can always put black on top. Ooh, what I want. Sure. Okay. Let's see. This one is coming up this way. They can get a little bit more detailed now that I've oh, that they're closer is what I meant to say. Sorry, I can't paint and talk at the same time. Like focus on something and paint. Changing my plans as I go here with like where branches are going because I like this better. Okay, and then the other dark one is it's just a little bit lighter. So we're gonna put that up here. I'm gonna focus on the center of it because it looks like the edges have a little more highlight. I can always take out highlights later, like subtle ones with lifting. Ooh, cool. It's amazing how a lot of art just doesn't like, you don't really know what it's gonna look like until you've started putting stuff to paper. Because you just, you know, what's in your mind is kind of idealized and too perfect. And putting it on paper brings it to life. And you have to, you know, be forgiving of yourself if you're like, it's not looking right. It's like, well, what is right? Is the right thing what was in your mind? Or is the right thing actually getting it on paper? I don't know. We're going to put some actual black. Yeah, just in parts of the tree, this closest tree here. There's some nice, deep, dark high or shadows in the rocks here. I'm going to go a little lighter with the ones back here because they still have shadows on them. And I want to go for mossy green. How do I do that? I need yellow, orange. Ooh, actually, that's pretty good. I want to put that color. Yeah. On the highlights. Ooh, it's a little bit deep. Highlighted parts of the greenery here. Really, really warm up close. And we're going to get a little cooler as it goes back. Still light enough so that it looks like highlights. We want to go green, like neon green would be cool. Maybe put a touch of blue back in here. Make it look a little bit farther away. A little bit more blue maybe in this tree shadow. Back to the green. Not perfect, Mary. We're not going for perfect. So we just need to make sure we are capturing the colors that I wanted. I sound like Gollum. Yeah, get that misty look back there. I want this to kind of creep down just a little bit. I want some brighter greens up in here because I want that white background to really, like the lighter parts that I pulled out earlier, to really kind of glow. In order for that to happen, I have to put in some brighter, brighter greens in areas that have leaves. And then avoid the spots that let's go a little bit cooler. It's hard. It's really hard. This is not easy. It's almost like I want the stuff down here to be a little bit, it's almost like maybe I need to introduce another color, a little bit of purple to hint at like other things back there. That creating the depth is definitely tricky. I want this to come forward just a little more. These rocks in here, they're kind of on the more brownish side, but they also have like softer edges, so it's a hard balance. But again, I'm not going for crazy detail, so I don't know if I should lift that up so you guys can see that a little closer. It's a little messy. I think the way to calm it down is this stuff in the background needs to be blurrier. Those trees, those greens in the background need to be kind of in a mist. And so I want to make sure I'm capturing that. It should be this tree that's really the brightest. Try not to lift any of that tree up. And then making sure, yeah, this part back here is nice and blended. There's not really any, actually that'll help if I put a little bit of this right along the edge. Oop, it actually bled into that a little too much. I just want a sharp like edge of the rocks that are closest to us here, because that'll help a lot with like what's happening. What rocks are closer? This is closer. This is a little bit closer, and then it kind of blends into the distance. Sharp things, come forward. I'm going to just put a glaze of yellow over this stuff in here to hopefully bring it forward a little more. But then it also has the deepest shadows. So making sure that I've got those happening. It's a hard balance. A larger landscape in acrylic or oil is just it's gonna take time to morph it into what I'd want it to be. And so doing this is helpful to know, kind of to achieve the lighting I want. It's gonna be more of a time commitment, and tweaking as I go. Till I get the right colors, the right lighting. But I think I'm pretty happy with that for the most part. I feel like a lot of this could actually have a little bit more of a glaze, so it's not quite so bright. Ooh, yeah, like that. That helps. It's like I don't really know again until I do it. Something to just push some of this back, but bring some of it forward. I want to go even deeper with like the center of this tree and some of its branches, so that it just comes forward even more. You know what I want to do? I want to hide like a little creature with like eyes. That's about the same color as this tree here. I don't know if I want to do it right here, maybe. It's going to be tricky because I have to avoid the eyes. Maybe I put another one. Reminds me of the cute little white little creatures in Princess Mononoke. Good film. Definitely more PG-13 than I was thinking it was. I don't know if you can see that one very well, but there's one there. I think I like the fact that their like eyes are transparent. I'm gonna put one like farther away, see if I can make it smaller. Maybe next to this tree. With little eyes. Oh no, I slipped. Don't slip. Okay. Deep enough here. Okay, I'm actually fairly, very happy with that. Oh, hi, Norma. Oh, you're so nice. No. You are a good student and you like want to learn, so I am not the best teacher. I fail a lot. And I only can teach what I've experienced and know, so people can take it or leave it. And maybe it's correct or incorrect, I don't know. But anyway, I don't know if you can see those little guys. I'm gonna just leave it at 3. Call it good, I think. And we will stop there for today. I only got to 2, but I don't want to keep you from your day and your own creative endeavors. So thank you for watching, and I hope that you can share this with people that might be interested. I'll keep, maybe next week I'll do some more of these, or maybe even start a bigger one. But I had a lot of fun with this. A little harder than I thought, but it was well worth it. So I hope you guys can like this video, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel so you can see more stuff like this and get notified when I do more live streams. And yeah, get some more content, more videos, kind of like this. All right, guys, thank you again, and I hope you have a great Friday and rest of your weekend. Bye.